What's up, peoples? How you doing? It is a great day, and I am so he's laughing at me already. I am so very excited to be here. I have Thom E. I'm gonna say this probably wrong. Booton.
Booton,
Oh,
Booton.
Booton.
Yeah.
Ah, I did it on the show
Yes.
today.
It's
Thank you so
rare.
much. We've been already chatting. This man is very interesting. I'm gonna tell you the truth. There's a lot of stuff we don't even know about him that you're probably gonna have to get from the book. But Thom, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
I'm grateful that you're here. So tell us about yourself just a little bit. How did you kind of get into writing?
I got into writing, I think it was because of my rough childhood that I got into writing poetry at a young age. And then as I got older, I would write short stories and different things. And it kind of just fell into place after I had this amazing dream where I got up and thought, that was amazing. So when I dreamt it, I got up and wrote a 16-page synopsis. A year to the day later, I woke up and I said, I'm going to write a book. And I went upstairs and got that synopsis, started writing, but it kind of fed itself. After the first 3 or 4 chapters, I quit using the synopsis. It just flowed out like a river. I never had writer's block a single moment. It was
Wow.
incredible. And
That
now that's all I want to do. It's gotten
that
in my
is
blood.
incredible.
Well, thank you.
Oh my
It is.
gosh. Oh my gosh. So is the book the dream?
The book um, is actually, it starts out as the dream. The first 2 chapters of the book are actually true. They're not fiction. It was my cousin and I went to the flea market to, I collect Mad magazine. So I would buy, collect Mad, and he would, and so we walked in this building that was there and there was these quartz crystals. And I said, wow, Ralph, look at those crystals. They're clear. He said, isn't that why they call them crystals? And so I said, no, they're not always clear, but I read somewhere if you put it under your pillow, you'll have colorful dreams. Well, I bought one, put it under my pillow, and dreamt the book. That night when I woke up I had the crystal under my pillow. So that's why I kept on to it. And I thought, okay, I'm going to follow this up because that crystal may have caused me to have this dream. There's people who would say no because they want to be anti whatever, but it was a godsend, and it's been amazing. I'm actually working on, it's one of a trilogy. And so I'm actually working on the second one, and it's the same thing. I have few notes to look at, but I sit down and I just start typing and it comes out like a river. And I have no idea where that comes from, but I am totally thankful and blessed.
Yes. It's just amazing what people will say no to when the human brain is just an amazing conduit, just like a computer. It works in mysterious ways, and if you influence it in any kind of way. So you said that you believed that the crystal would give you vivid dreams, colorful dreams, and you had
Yes.
the dream of the book. Well,
Yeah.
you've already insinuated in your mind, and your brain has already taken that and actually started to simulate that. And when you went to bed, your brain elaborated on it. That's pretty much how that happens. Because
Yes.
no, your brain is just an amazing computer. If you tell your brain, I'm going to be this person and I need a way to get there, boom, the question remains, I need a way to get there. Now your brain goes, how can I get there? And I
I
think
agree.
that a lot of people don't realize that, this is just a very simple thing to do. You ask your brain a question, it's going to find ways to get you there.
You're absolutely accurate, because there are times when I want to do something, or there's something that I need to take care of, or that I have to figure out, and I just say, okay, well, I'm just going to go on and let my brain figure it out, and it'll tell me when it's ready, and it does.
Yes,
That's exactly right. I feel the same way.
I do too. I do too. I know
100%.
that the creator has put into us, and I don't know if you believe in a creator, but I do.
Oh, absolutely.
I know that the creator has put into us everything that we need, and all we have to do is ask the right question.
Yes. Oh, I am definitely, uh, there was something recently, and I won't go into it because it's a little bit lengthy, that happened between me and Derek, Derek that works for I guess the publisher, and it turned out to be something where what happened was a friend of mine, I said this was happening and that I was going to, they're talking about maybe making a screenplay of my book. And so my best friend, who is my photographer, my film guy, he said, well, you better be careful. So there's a lot of crooked people out there. And so I prayed to God. I said, oh God, please don't let Derek be crooked, because he's setting up this stuff and getting it all done. The very next day, I do a crossword puzzle every morning to get my brain kick-started. The next day, right across the middle of the crossword puzzle were 2 words. It said, trust Derek. And it spelled his name the exact same way with 2 R's. And boy, I get goosebumps every time I tell that. And that, if that's not the Lord telling me that, okay, it's good. You can trust him. And so I do. And now he's taking care of it. And I am so tickled. And he's reassured me over and over just by what he does, that he's trustworthy and a good guy.
Yes, I've worked with Derek and I've worked with the company for a minute and they have always come through and they're a great company. So yes, you can trust Derek. You can definitely trust Derek. I'm looking at it and you said that this is going to be a sequel or a series, kind of like a trilogy, right? So the Black
Yes.
Tourmaline, Tourmaline,
Yeah, Tourmaline.
Tourmaline. Okay, so tell me about this because I absolutely love to know what this crystal did to you.
Well, I actually studied some physics, quantum physics, as far as crystals. And you mean what it did to me as far as my dream, or as far as
Yes,
the writing?
yes. And then how it insinuated an entire book from just a sleep.
Well, the crystal, in my knowledge of what everything I studied, uh, yes, a crystal is the only thing, quartz crystal is the only thing that does not have graphite in it. And so if you put an energy source at one end of a crystal and touch it to it, it'll run straight through that crystal without any interruptions, any warbles, or it'll come out just like it went in. And that's the same thing that happens when you have the dream, where you dream and it goes in, and when it comes out, this one takes you to another crystal in an alternate dimension, where you have an alternate brother who has your same DNA. So you can actually, if you sleep at the exact same time and have that crystal and you get into REM, it'll make you switch bodies. And so my main character gets switched into a serial killer's body. And that sets its own stuff up, because the serial killer gets in his body and goes after his girlfriend. So
Oh my
it gets scary
gosh.
and scary at some points. It's very, very,
Wow. Wow. And
very,
this would be a great screenplay, I think.
yes, I keep getting that. And actually, my camera guy, Jeff, he said, well, let's do it. I said, Jeff, that would take us 6 or 7 months. And I don't have that kind of time, because I want to finish this book. I'm on all these other projects where I'm writing and directing some short films with a couple of people. So I said, no, I'm going to leave it to the pros. And so finally, I was blessed enough to find someone that wants to do it.
That's amazing. That is
Yes.
amazing. That is great. So, okay, so now this to me is amazing because you went to sleep, you woke up with the entire book. Now you're doing the second book in the trilogy. When a person looks at stuff like this and they say, "Oh, please, that was not it." I get that so much, but inspiration comes when it comes.
Yes.
And you had such a revelation of this whole entire thing, and you just put it down, you just kept writing. What was it that stood out to you that made it a trilogy? Because some books finish their ending, that's it, not a trilogy. But some of them have a storyline that just takes a little bit more, how would I say, finesse to finish.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you asked that question, because that's one of my key things about why it's got to be a trilogy. As I said, I wrote a 16-page synopsis after I woke up. Well, by the time I got done with the book, I was only a third of the way through the synopsis. And so that told me, I thought, because actually in the end, it's a love story. It's a really nice love story between in this book, in my book, the woman is the hero. She's the heroine, whatever you want to call it. And so it's it's been unique in writing, but from a woman's perspective or a female being the hero, I liked that idea. And by the end, it gets really crazy. I mean, especially with what I'm doing on the new chapter, the new book. Um, by the end, if you don't know how deep love can be and how much it can bring you out of and put you into, which happens in this book multiple times in different ways, and different characters come in. It's it's faith, basically faith. You realize that she's so strong that she has faith and all this gumption to fight whatever it takes to win Adam, to save him. And they know now after the first book that they have these big feelings for each other, but they don't know really what they're up against coming up in the next book or two.
And you get to know your characters. How did you develop these characters? Was it someone based on, I mean, your characters based on someone you know, or was it pure imagination?
Most of it was pure imagination, because I've never been a serial killer. So, but
Well,
yes,
I'm not
there
going to get
are.
into that because, you just never know, but okay.
Yeah, actually, my sister, when she read it, she's I'm Christian, but I love her to death, but she's kind of over the top. And she says, this is demonic. She read my book. And I said, because the serial killer kills people. And the way that he kills this one teenage girl, she said, it's just demonic. And I said, Mary, it's a love story. Where? And I said, you're looking too narrow. You have to look at the whole picture. You're looking at one instance of something that happened. It's definitely a love story, and a story for the struggle to fight for that love.
Mm, mm, mm. Life throws us a lot of curveballs, maybe not being a serial killer, but maybe even being someone who, is on the wrong path, hurting
Yeah.
themselves or hurting others with words or domestic violence or whatever. But people can change. Definitely
Yes.
people can change. And is this one of the precepts of your book?
Well, it actually changed in the first chapter. There's a police officer who totally changes how he feels about they find. I mean, they know this serial killer who's killed 8 women and he's wanted and all that stuff. But when it comes down to it, and they find all the evidence and stuff, and some of the stuff that the killer's been through, you can sense the empathy from the detective, and how he kind of understands what it's like me in my childhood. People say that I was either going to turn out doing the same things, or I was going to turn out and fighting the same things. Well, I could have turned out the other way, but I think my grandmother taking us to church every day when we were growing up, and instilling in us religion and God and Jesus and faith. I think that's also a part of what I took out of me to put into the book.
Wow. Wow. So, I mean, when you think about this book and now you have the second one that's in progress, why do you want to continue to do the third one? Because I mean, some people stop at the second, but what propels you to move forward to the third book?
Uh, well, I may have to back up on that. If, like I said, I got a third of the way through the synopsis when I got finished with this book of 350 pages. If I can get everything said and done in the next, I'd only be 2. But because there's so much going on, and there's other characters that are going to crisscross over into the love, hate, the kill, uh, it kind of built itself. And at the end of the first book, I left a cliffhanger, a big
Oh,
cliffhanger that leads you. And I mean, some of the people that have read it and called and talked to me about it, well, why did you leave us hanging? And I said, because there's 2 more books. And so now, and at the end of the first book, they think they know who the main person, the main evil person is, but they won't know till the next one that it's not that person.
mm,
And so I think the hunger for them to find out who is behind this is going to help feed somebody wanting to read it.
wow. I love it that you're so involved in your writing and in the
Yes.
characters and in the whole mystery of it all. Do you plan on writing another book?
Um, this is through the request of many, 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 many people. After I finish the 3 books, I'm going to have to write an autobiography. I
Hmm.
mean, I've had ghost experiences. I've had alien experiences, experience one, just one. I've had so many things. Oh my goodness. OD'd on PCP. I was into hard drugs. I played in a rock band. I mean, uh, I've had so many of my friends and my family. You need to write this and let people know. And I said, after the 3rd book. So I'll probably be 90 by the time that gets here, but no, 80 because I'm only 70, but you know,
You never know.
yeah, never know.
You just don't know. Just don't know. Wow. Well, I want to thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate it. Did we leave anything out? Is there something you'd like to say to the listeners, the watchers today?
Um, yeah, I taught acting for a little while, and several of them would say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. And I said, whoa. I said, I never wanted to do anything I'm doing now. You don't know what you're going to be till you get there. I said, you can want to be this and that, but whatever God's plan is for you, or you won't really know till you're there doing it. Because I looked back and I thought, I never wanted to do that. I never wanted to do that, but I'm loving every moment of it, and I'm passionate about it now. So you just have to follow your heart and actually sometimes take the chances when you see an opportunity to the side. Don't think, oh, I couldn't do that. Give it a shot. You never know. I never wanted to write, and then it seems like it's working out okay. I
I
hope.
think so. I think so. Wow. Wow. And you're so right. Because, this was not something I ever even imagined myself doing,
Yeah,
ever. So,
there you
so
go.
you just don't know. We're gonna definitely put this book, The Black Tourmaline, in the book club that we have on Amazon. And we're gonna put the link in the description box below, as well as you can get that on Amazon. And where else can you get that? Can you get that at Barnes and Nobles and anything else?
I've got a list. There's Boker, something called Boker, Barnes and Noble. There's uh, Ingram. Actually, the lady who owns it is a client and friend of mine. She's worth
Mm,
like $5 billion, Martha
wow.
Ingram. So I actually talked to her about it on flying in her Learjet to go to a job to work when I was working. And I said, would you publish my book for me? She said, I get that a lot, Tom. She said, but most people don't even know how to write a book. And so I don't get involved in it. I said, okay. But then there's Ingram, then there's Barnes and Noble, there's I have a little list here somewhere. There's like 8 or 10 different places. And some of them, like if you go in Barnes and Noble, they won't have the book there, but they'll get it to you. You have to order it to them. It's not
Right.
like everybody's stocking them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of books that aren't stocked. I mean, can you imagine if they stocked every book?
How big the stores would have to be.
Yeah, one copy per per show. That
But
that would not work.
I'm loving the feedback though that I've gotten from the people. I mean, I offered out, I got 60 copies of it, and I offered out to all my friends and fans on Facebook from my acting. And so they all have signed autographed parts where they've sent it to me and I've autographed it. But I've become better friends with a number of them. And they said, we really like you as an actor, but I really love your writing too. And especially I actually, on some of the chapters, I left cliffhangers until the next chapter, the chapter after that. And so when the lady who edited it for me read it, who was in her 80s, uh, she read it and she says, Tom, I don't even like fiction, but I started reading it on a Friday night and I got so caught up in you putting your little cliffhangers in that I didn't go to bed till like 2 o'clock the next afternoon. I was up all night and read it. She
Oh,
said, this
wow.
book has merit. She was brilliant. She is one of the smartest people. We used to combat each other trying to see who's smarter than the other, but when she said that, I was like, okay, I've got all the confidence in the world now. If Virginia thinks that, I'm tickled to death.
You're set.
I'm
Yeah.
set. Yes.
Wow. Well, it's been such a pleasure having you on the show, Tom. I appreciate it. And we're going to put the link in the description box below to Amazon just so people just go ahead and go there. But do you have a website?
I'm actually getting that done now. I put it off forever because I have all these things and everybody wants to see them. And so I'll send them to them. But I have a friend working on it now. Just a couple of weeks ago, I said, I want a website, and I had to give him so much stuff. Oh my gosh. And I said, you pick and choose, but just make it look good and make it flow. And he's brilliant. So I'm looking forward to it. I don't know. I just told him, let me know when it's done and I'll get there. But
Well,
when
we're
I
gonna
do, I'll put it out there to everybody when I get
yes,
it.
definitely. You go ahead and do that. Where on social media can people follow you so they can keep up with that?
Well, right now, the only place you can follow me is Facebook. And
Good.
people kind of dog Facebook, but 2 years ago, I got 3 gigs because the directors saw my Facebook and they contacted me and gave me parts. I didn't have to audition for
There you
them.
go.
So Facebook, and it's good for me to stay in contact with friends.
Mhm.
If you use it the right way, Facebook is very, very good for that kind of thing.
Yes, I agree. I definitely agree. Well, thank you so much, Tom, again. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're going to again have that information about Tom's book, The Black Tourmaline, in the description box below. And until next time, guys, don't forget to dare to be different. Bye.